No breath, no heartbeat, just static remains. Hollow reflections, ghosts in the crowd.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Trackside Broadcasting. Welcome to those who are new to us tonight as well. Thank you all for joining us. You all know me not by now, but my name's Gaz. I'm one of your commentators tonight, and we'll be bringing the other guy in very, very shortly. Great guy, absolutely love him. You all know him by now, but just in case that you don't, top mate of mine. This evening, we're going to have some more racing tonight. It's been about 7 days since we've last been in these GT3s. We're doing the best of British this season. So remember, we're bringing you all of the great tracks this great nation of ours has to offer. It is race week 6 of 8. And this week, we're an old favourite. We're back to where we started all the way back in race week 1. We are at Donington Park, but this time we're on the national circuit. First time around, we're on the GP. This time we're on the national circuit, slightly shorter version of it. As always, though, before we get started, I just want to thank the Tanzo Racing Group for letting us bring you all of the action this season, each and every single week. And thank you to all of our sponsors as well, Spectra Racing, Clark St. James Motorsport, and us here at Trackside Broadcasting. All of us making this all happen for you guys each and every week. Like I said, we are on race 6 of 8 tonight, and we are getting ever so closer to the end of the season. Couple of weeks left after tonight's race. We've had some great races, and that's why we've decided to bring it on back to week 1 and go back to Donny. But with that said, like I said, we've not been in these cars for 7 days now, so we need to get some racing going on here tonight. And like I said earlier, joining me tonight and each and every single week, a good friend of mine. And as someone who's raced these leagues before and drove these cars before, there's no one else I could think better for the role of sitting next to me to bring you all of the action. So Maestro, give me that drum roll, bring him here. I'm going to introduce the man with all of the knowledge and none of the rubbish, Mr. Jimmy Jim. Hi, hello, good evening. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing very, very well, thank you. How you doing?
I am doing brilliantly. I'm a little bit more uppity this week. I've had a great day at work, to be fair, for once. So it's not been the end of the world for a Monday for once, mate. It's been absolutely great. How's your Monday been?
It's been busy, but yeah, it's been good. It's been a good day. You can't beat just a nice good Monday, can you? Sets off your week nicely.
No, it does, it does, it does. But when I get this at the end of the day, you know how I feel. I soon perk up as soon as we get some racing action underway, which we are going to get down to a little bit soon. But back to Donington Park, mate. We're back where it all started this season. How you feeling about tonight's race on the shorter track?
I mean, Donington's an old classic, isn't it? It's just, for me, this is what I think of when I think of British tracks. Between this and I'd say Silverstone are kind of the main two. But
Yeah.
this was the one where I think is perfect for GT3 cars, and it's just a great circuit to race on. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, this is my favourite of the British tracks, especially this particular layout, because it doesn't have that awkward hairpin at the end, it just makes it a nice, really quick, flowy track. I mean, we're seeing times of 1 minute and 3 seconds at the moment. Should be in the 1 minute 2s, I think, at any moment now. But yeah, this is
No,
the one.
no, it was a good one, mate, the first time around. I remember correctly as well. I think Andy White, Harry Price, and Craig Corrish were in your podium spots the first time around we were here for your pros, and Dan Paul, Elmer Van Beek, and James Vardigans took up the pro spots for the AMs. Interesting to see if those spots will stay the same for today's race. Quite interesting. Like I said, run a shorter track could be for an interesting one. A little bit shorter this time around. You're looking just over the minute mark, really, about 1 minute 2, 1 minute 3. I'd say. Is that about fair to say, Jim?
I'd say so. And also, it's nice to have got a slight familiar face up in P4 at the moment, who we're on board with at the moment. Or Baz, he's been in the YouTube chat, chatting away, saying his hellos over the last few weeks.
Ah,
So
Baz
nice to
Racing
see
on
him.
YouTube is now doing some Baz Racing on iRacing tonight. That is good to see. Baz, love having you here with us actually on track tonight, mate. You'll have to let us know after you watch it back a little later what you think of your race. But Jimmy, before we get down to track and before we have a look at everyone's times going into qualifying, they're just over 5 minutes at the moment, so we've got plenty of time. Do you just want to remind everybody at home, for anybody new to us, how it all works here in the Tanzo Racing Group?
Yep, so we are currently seeing qualifying at the moment. It's a 15-minute closed qualifying session. So the drivers are out on track on their own. Just gives them plenty of time to set the best lap time possible for themselves and to get the best spot on the grid for the start of the race. Then we have a brief 5-minute warm-up for the drivers where they can do with whatever they want. Have a cup of tea, go to the bathroom, all the usual stuff. And then we're on to the 60-minute race. For the race, we have 60% fuel on board, which means there will be a pit stop midway through. So it just adds a nice bit of strategy through the race, which we'll talk about when around the halfway through the race when that sort of starts to happen. And then it's open setups as well, so the drivers can tune their cars exactly how they would like to get the best out of them.
There we go. So that is that down there and out the way. Shall we take a little look down and see what's happening out on track at the moment, Jimmy? We're just over the 7 minute mark at the moment, and look at that. Top the first time around, top at the moment. Andy White, Harry Price, and Craig Corrish again so far leading the way in qualifying.
We are seeing some other names sort of popping up there. I mean, Elmer Van Beek getting in 4th place. I mean, as an AM, phenomenal qualifying so far. I mean, there's still plenty of time, but yeah, to get times like they are at the moment is brilliant.
Well,
Baz, obviously the new face.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was just going to say Elmer Van Beek finished P2 the first time around in week 1 this week.
Oh well, there you go. Clearly a fan of Donington himself.
There you go. Improving as well. Sitting P1 at the moment, sitting right up there with the rest of them pros. But yeah, go on. Baz Cutting, Baz Racing, as we all know him by his YouTube name.
Yeah, I was gonna say a new face to this season, but he's doing equally well, up in 5th place. Matthew Down as well. He's new to the season as well.
Tell you
Not for
what,
this race, but new to the season in general. And yeah, he's doing really well himself. And
sorry,
I
real
mean,
quick. No, carry on, Al. I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah.
interrupt you in a second.
I was gonna say all the lap times that we're seeing at the moment, you can see just how quick everyone is. There's literally hundreds, if not thousands, as we're seeing Harry 7 going literally 1,000th of a second quicker, or just behind Elmer Van Beek there. So almost identical lap times throughout the whole timing board. But yeah, so what you're gonna say, guys?
No, that is really, really close. See, I was just going to say, I know sometimes I wax on sometimes a little bit about liveries, but if you can just cut back to Baz Cutting there, I'm fairly confident that looks like one of my cars from Grand Theft Auto.
I was trying to think of what that color scheme reminds me of something. I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle is what comes to my mind. It looks like a purple Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, it
I
has
might be,
got that kind of color.
I might be mistaken in that. And Baz, if I have offended you, mate, I am sorry. Correct me later on in conversation, mate. Let me know on that. But no, I love it. I love that livery. That is great. You know, I'm a fan of the liveries, and I like to call them out as I see them.
Yeah, we've got some really nice liveries going out throughout the field.
But no, there
Yeah,
you
so
go,
far
Jimmy.
Andy White, yeah, class as usual, leading the way with Harry Price as well, leading the way behind him. And Craig Corish, like you said, 1, 2, 3 of the first race of the season, and 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Still 5 minutes to go though, so it could chop and change as we go through. Although a few people are starting to pit now. Yeah, what's
Yeah,
your
it's
thoughts
coming
so
up.
far, guys?
I think it's coming up to that point, Jimmy. Like you said, a few cars are coming in. I think they've probably done what they need to out there. They might come out again before we go out for the pause, obviously, and they line up on track for our rolling start here in the GT3s. But so far these guys are pretty quick. Like obviously the ones that you're going to be looking at the top of the leaderboard, as you mentioned, Andy White and Harry Price, they have been ridiculously fast all season long. It has been one of them two on top the whole way through, Jimmy, and we are what 6 weeks into it now. Only a couple of races left. Will they keep it up there? Who knows? It's always a good fight between them two up at the top. Craig Corish has done very well though this season, and it's one of them for Craig Corish. When I look at it, he's had a few incidents which are setting back a little bit over the past few weeks. It's not been the best for him. That's not kept him up there with them. So I do genuinely believe that Craig is a very fast driver. But no, I'm not too sure, Jimmy. We're 6 weeks into it. I'm pretty confident who I know is going to win the league. That's all I'm saying at this point.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I mean, you're in it to have a good race, aren't you? So as long as you're going out there and having a bit of fun, then yeah, there's no problems with having the odd little incident here and there, especially if it's not your fault. I think it's just part of racing at the end of the day, isn't it? I mean, you watch real life races through F1 through to rallycross and GT3s in real life as well, and there's constantly little bumps and scrapes and spins and crashes. So
Yeah,
just
you
make
gotta
it,
love that.
let's make it a bit more realistic.
No, you gotta love it. I do. I do. So I like to see as many cars finish the race as the start of the race there, Jim. But I do like to see a little bit of coming together, a little bit of that paint exchange, like you said, bumper to bumper. Give them a little push along as well while you're there, and trade a little bit of paint off at the same time. It'll always look good as well on camera.
It does indeed. But anyway, this season we also have we did talk about that. It just the joy of the racing is why you're part of it. But we do also have a prize pool up for grabs. So we got £100 in total for the season, with £50 going to P1 overall in the pros, and £50 going to P1 overall in the AMs. But we do have a surprise additional £25 being awarded to the safest driver of the season. This £25 is generously being donated by our very own Harry7. So yeah, he has a YouTube channel which is Murby Goes. So if you can go give him a little watch, give him a little check out his YouTube channel over there, and give him a little bit of support for being kind and throwing in that extra little 25 incentive for the drivers.
Yeah, it's an interesting one with it, isn't it? Really, because we were discussing it the last few weeks. If Harry 7 finished at the top, would he indeed take his own prize pool there, Jim? And it has been confirmed to us, and we did say it last week as well that Harry won't be taking his own prize pool if he does finish in that safest spot. But no, he's an absolute great lad. Go, like Jim said, go check him out. Murby Goes at Murby Goes, and while you're on YouTube, jump on over to Trackside Broadcasting as well, and give us a little bit of a like and subscribe as well. Give us a shout out, guys, if you're joining us along tonight. Let us know who you're looking for. Let us know who you are rooting for. We've already got one in the chat. We've got Samantha back with us again this week, Jim, saying, "Come on, Andy, as always."
Yeah, I mean, so far, I think every race where she has said that, Andy has gone on to win pretty much. So I think,
Samantha,
yeah,
you've
if you want to
probably
support
the
your
lucky
drivers,
charm.
give them a little shout out and yeah,
Well,
give them.
Samantha sounds like the lucky charm the way you describe it there, Jim. But
I
yeah,
mean,
let Samantha know if anyone you want to win, and get her to give him a shout out. Chuck her a few pennies on the side, and I'm sure she'll help you along there.
yeah, don't ask us to shout them out. Get Samantha to shout them out, and then.
There you go. But Jimmy, we're coming up. We've just got 1 minute left at the moment. Few cars out, still on track. Andy White still leading the way at the minute. But 2.5 tenths, Harry Price just off of him. Craig Corish keeping right up behind those. I wonder what we're going to see from Craig tonight. Like I said, hopefully without no incident for him tonight, we'll see him right up there fighting along with these two because he does look very, very far.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those ones where, given how close Craig and Harry are at the moment, I feel like if they're going to be battling, I mean, it's a good track for battling. It's very fast, very flowing. I don't think you're going to lose too much time in the grand scheme of things because It's got a good width to it. I mean, there's a few choke points on the track itself where it might get a bit tight if you're battling. You might slow each other down, but I think overall, I don't think it's gonna be too bad. But you still will lose time the more you're battling. So given how close P2 and P3 are, it might uh, it might benefit them to sort of work together a little bit as best they can just to keep on the back of Andy and keeping that slipstream, get that bit of extra pace. Because it's not a draft track, but I think this shorter layout does lend itself to being able to get that extra bit of time and speed through getting that slipstream off the cars in front. So
No,
yeah, it's
absolutely, Jim. No, I just completely agree with you there, there, mate. With it being that shorter track as well, that there's a lot of time, but there's not a lot of time to be lost on this one. Like I said, it's about you want to get towards like the high 102s, really. It's 10 turns, 3.15 kilometers long, and they've just completed qualifying. Jimmy, do you want to let everybody know how it finished out there and how we will start this race tonight?
Yep, so starting in P1 overall and P1 in the pros, we have Andy White, followed by Harry Price in second and Craig Corsh in third. We then have Ryan Clark just behind them, starting in fourth, with Elmer Van Beek leading the way in the AMS, but fifth overall in position. Then we have Harry Seven, Baz Cutting, Matthew Down. Christopher Haynes is second in the AMS, but ninth overall, with Jordan Butler third in the AMS and 10th overall. Then we have Daniel Poole, Raymond Van Zutphen, James Vardigans, Matthew Massey, James Moore, Sean Clark, Adrian Hadfield, and Mike Chadwick. Then we have Casper Roos just behind them, with Simon McPhee registering but not setting a time.
There we go, Jimmy. So 19, potentially 20 drivers out on track. I think it was it Jan last week who did the set time, but he still came out with us for a little bit of the race, from what I remember, anyway.
Yeah, he's definitely there for a few laps, but I mean sometimes I think the drivers sign up and then you got other
Yeah,
commitments, other things happen, so you can't
yeah,
always make every single race.
we've all got stuff going on, really, haven't we? Sometimes it just has to be done, and you've got to give up your race. But that's just one of those things, Jimmy. But yeah, we're on a little warm up now, guys. Everyone's got a few minutes. We've got up to 5 minutes. We're a minute and a half into it right now. These guys can just do whatever they want now before the race. As you can see, some of them are back out there. They're just getting a few, maybe a couple of laps in whilst they can. Like I've got 5 minutes, Jimmy. Like I said, it's 1 minute and two, 1 minute and three, pretty much round. So they've got time for a few extra little laps in there just to get in the mood ready before start the race, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I always like the warm ups. My preference is usually if I'm in a league where you got a 5 minute warm up before the race, is to get out there and at least do 1 to 2 laps. Because when you're in qualifying, you're lighter on fuel, you've got warmer tires, and you just kind of you get used to in practice. You obviously you get your laps done, and your car gets lighter, and you're on those warmer tires, and then in qualifying, lighter, warmer tires. So you need to get used to your car being on that heavier fuel on the cold tires again. Just get used to it, just to think about where your braking zones and where you might lose a bit of traction on those first couple laps are. So it's just that learning opportunity, really.
I tell you, that's where your technical mind thinks. In my mind, goes straight to, well, hold on, I'm back in a 5 minute warm up. There's going to be some other cars out there. I've just had 15 minutes alone on qualifying. I want to see what some of these other guys are potentially going to be looking at, especially the guys that are around me in qualifying. Like I know where I'm going to be, and I know who's going to be around me, who I'll be racing tonight. So let's see if they get out there, and let's see what they're looking like on track in this few minutes warm up. But we've got just about 2 minutes left to go. We do have a rolling start. Remember, guys, Jimmy, it's a short circuit. I'm thinking probably it's about a full lap, isn't it? Really?
It might be. I think Donington has a pretty good half track sort of tyre warm up, but I don't know how it's going to work with the chicane. I mean, a rolling start with a chicane there could lend a few drivers to be caught out if they're not bunched up well enough. But I think overall, I don't think people are going to be too affected from the rolling start. A few people diving into the pit lane there. I think they might be doing practice pit stops, which is
Yeah.
a good idea.
Well, we've seen a few people suffer with that, haven't we, Jimmy, over the season and the last
Yeah.
season as well. They've suffered with their pit stops a little bit, so definitely worth getting that in.
And yeah, if anyone's watching at home as well, please, yeah, feel free to shout out whoever you want, whoever you're supporting this evening in the YouTube chat, and we'll give them a little shout out during the race. And yeah, I mean, Andy White looking confident, Harry Price looking confident out there,
See,
setting good
Andy,
times
Andy,
earlier on.
Andy White, not just quick. It's because he got the shout out in the comments as well, Jim. That is the power of the shout out in the comments. Samantha shouted out, "Come on, Andy!" And where is he? Sitting P1. He's about to lead another race with us for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think that my eyes are going to be on the two behind them for this one with Craig and Harry, just to see how they're going to react. Because I mean, they are within the pace, and I think that slipstream will keep them just in line enough that they might be able to fight and get that lead as well.
No, absolutely. Like I said, Craig. We know Harry Price is a quick driver, but Craig Corrish as well. He's one not to be like shied away from. In my opinion, bar a couple of incidences, Craig would have been right up there with them potentially, and it would be good to see another driver sit up there with them. We're pretty used to them getting a 30, 40. I think once we hit a 50-second gap between them two and third place alone, and I think Craig's that guy that's needed in there that will potentially break that gap, or at least get that extra car up there with them.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm looking forward to seeing today. So the warm up is just ending. Drivers are just pulling over now, and then they're going to get ready any second to line up on grid.
There we go. So just a reminder, rolling start. We've got beautiful weather here tonight, perfect for racing out there, isn't it, Jim? So there shouldn't be any issues getting those tires warmed up or anything out there at all. Like the sun's not beating down, but it's still it's not raining like we saw in some other races this weekend.
No, it's not raining. We've got overcast and it's humid. Very windy out there though, so that might affect them depending on the direction that it's going in. But yeah, I think there's going to be a decent amount of grip out there, and I think they're going to have any issues with that. Although
Not
towards
at
the end of
all.
the race, I think if you, it's a tricky one because I think shorter tracks can lend
Are you
yourselves to a bit more tire wear.
are you gonna are you gonna change tires though?
Yeah, that's the thing.
We've seen what happens when you don't, but we've also seen it work out for a couple of drivers. I think we spoke to one last week who said he barely had anything left there on them as we came around for that final lap, so he was glad there wasn't another one.
Just quickly though, Elmer Van Beek setting that great qualifying lap is starting from the pits. I think he missed. I think he missed the start.
And he missed the start. He started using P1 for the AMs there. That is going to be unfortunate of him for him there. Oh, I do feel
Yeah.
for him. Elmer, it's always something. It's always something every week.
I mean, I think the main issue is the drivers, as you can see, they're wiggling out on track. They're getting that bit of heat in their tires before the race starts. Warm up the brakes, warm up the tires a little bit, and it just gives you that little advantage on race start. And then obviously with the rolling start, they're going to get going straight away. Whereas when you start in the pits, you're doing a standing start with that extra cold tires and extra cold brakes. I think you're setting yourself up for a tough situation. But yeah, well, safety
You
car
don't.
dipping into the pit lane now, and then as soon as Andy White crosses that start finish line, they are underway and they are going now. Great start from Andy White there. Slightly weaker start from Harry Price, but he's able to make the dive on the inside. Can he make it stick? No. Andy just gets ahead. A few of them going 2 to 3 wide a bit further
I,
back.
I saw a four wide just before we hit that first corner there, Jim, and I was getting a bit worried that we was going to have a four wide around that first corner. I'm not quite sure it would have fit.
Yeah, keeping it very clean and very tidy through these first few laps. And yeah, I mean, fair play to them because I think that first turn is a little bit tricky because of how wide it is. You want to get that move done. You want to dive on inside of someone. And no, I think they did very well to keep everyone still on track. So Andy White gaining 6 tenths on Harry, but Harry's got 6 tenths on other Harry. And yeah, I mean, Harry 7 seems to have just come out of nowhere and then suddenly flying right at the top. Craig Corrish dropping down to fourth still, and then yeah, I think it's much of a muchness depending on with the overtakes further down the field. I don't think many people got many overtakes done to start with, but I think as people get a bit more confidence in their tyres when they get a bit more warmth, I think we'll start to see more moves happening throughout the field.
No, absolutely, Jim. I've got to agree with you. We say it each and every single week, you do not need to get the racing done in the first lap. The first couple of corners, it's a 60-minute race. You've got plenty of time to get it done. We've seen a couple of changes, like you said, Harry 7 jumping up to P3. We know
Oh,
he's a good
car's gone off.
driver. Who's gone off there? Shall we take a quick look at that one? Is it
So,
Matthew Down?
yeah, Matthew down. So what
Was
happens
it?
to him? It looked like he braked quite late, getting quite harsh on the turn in.
He's catching up to Baz just in front of him.
Yeah, it's going to be in that dirty air there. I think just a mixture of
Oh,
yeah, I think just a mixture of situation, and then the back end just slipped out. That's a bit annoying.
yeah.
He's had a bit of a rough start on a couple of these races. I think
No,
I
yeah,
don't know if it's down to maybe a quirk of the Lamborghini or what, but Sean Clark there getting a bit of a slow down penalty. He might have gone a little bit wide or cut a corner there, so he'll have to serve that in a second. Might end up with Adrian Hadfield being able to catch up and possibly get the move done on Sean because of that.
it looks like he's dropping that time now. He's just gained about 2 tenths on in there, Jimmy, while you were finishing off your last sentence.
Just quickly, Andy White sitting at 1 minute 4 dead. Harry 7 in P3 at 1 minute 4.9, nearly a second a lap quicker between P1 and P3. Oh, a little sketchy from James Moore there, going wide, just touching that dirt. I mean, yeah, it's a part of the track where you want to track wide to keep the speed as much as possible, but you're
Look,
getting
look at Daniel Paul. Sorry, just Daniel Paul sneaking up there on the outside of him there, trying to get round.
yeah. I mean, he saw he saw James make a slight mistake, and then you've got to get opportunity from those mistakes. Yeah, just quickly in the YouTube chat,
Yeah,
J
I was,
Bot
I was
Racing.
just looking at that one, Jimmy. Just looking at it. Come on, Matt down. Now, I will say I don't know when that comment came in. Now, I'm gonna, because I didn't see it until after the incident. I'm gonna take that as a come on, Matt down. You can do it. You can get back up there, kind of comment. Because I don't want to.
I
I
am.
don't want to think Satnav's right there thinking he's cursed. No,
Oh, sorry, just
that's
quickly,
all.
Harry Price, 1 minute 3.8, fastest lap of the session, with Harry 7 at 1 minute 5. So they are now lapping almost 2 seconds a lap quicker than P3. So I think it's going to be a big fight between Craig and Harry here for who gets that final podium spot. Harry Price and Andy White seem to be very confident and able to pull away slightly this early on. And yeah, I do love these onboard shots where you see people just hunting someone down. And
They are
yeah,
phenomenal shots, James, and you know I'm going to be asking for one a little later on tonight.
yeah, I'll give a little track rundown because it's a
Oh, we
really fun
love the
track, and
onboard. We do love the onboard. We will do, but we'll get away from that one. We'll get away from that one, and we'll come back to it. But just dropping down to the AMs for a moment there, Jim. Jordan Butler leading the way. P7 out on track at the moment. P1 at the second with Christopher Haynes in P2, just about a second behind him, though, with Raymond Van Sutphen in P3, P9 on track. Those three got a nice little buffer between them and P4 with James Morgan. You got Matt Massey sitting P10 out on track. Just another one as well there, Jim. Andy White going quickest, 103.5 now.
yeah, they're getting really quick times here. I mean, half a second off their qualifying pace, and they've got all that extra fuel on board, and they'll be managing their tires and at this point, and possibly doing a bit of fuel saving as well. So yeah, those are very, very quick times out there at the moment from those, especially from those top two. But yeah, Jordan Butler, he's been consistently quick this entire season, so it's nice
Very,
to see
very
him,
quick.
yeah, back in P1. And yeah, I mean, he was our original Mr. Consistent, wasn't he, with how well he was performing throughout the
No,
season. So
he was indeed. He was indeed. And thing with Jordan Butler, like the Mr. Consistent, he's been to P2 in
oh,
the last two
beautiful move there
races.
from Al Van Beek.
Fantastic move from Mel Van Beek and Casper Roos, right? As I was going to wax lyrical about Jordan Butler there, but that is a brilliant move from Elmer.
Yeah, just got it down the inside, got the move done, and I think this is where Elmer, I think, is scuffing himself a little bit, missing that start. He's clearly got the pace, he's clearly got the talent to get further up the field, and he's got a heck of a job to work his way back up there. He's got an 11-second gap to Matthew Down there. Matthew Down also a very quick driver, just having that little mistake early on, and he's going to have to
Yeah.
work his way back up the field as well. So Elmer and Matthew, two people to watch throughout this race, as
There
yeah,
you go. To
Matthew just
say
got
that,
the
Matthew
nice
down
move down
making
the
a
inside.
collision there on Mike Chadwick there. So Elmer's behind two quick drivers, so he's not going to have an easy task of catching up with that nearly 12-second gap at the moment. We'll have to catch up with him a little bit later. Looking at Craig Corish now, chasing down Harry 7, under half a second behind him. Pretty much getting right into his boot a moment ago, but there's a little bit of a gap now just forming between the two of them. Craig will be looking to get that P3 back. He doesn't
Yeah, I
want
think it's.
to let P1 and 2 get away either at the same time. I think there, Jim. He's going to want to
I
get it
think
back and get it back quickly.
yeah. At this point, I think it's going to be when you're battling two of you so close like that, you can't help but have to drive a little bit more defensive or a little bit more aggressive, depending on which one you are. And you're going to be watching your mirrors a lot, and I think you're just going to slow each other down, regardless of if you're working together or not. I think at this point, it's just a battle for P3, and I think Harry and Andy are just going to drive away at the moment. And as you
And
can
we're
see,
looking at back, cut back to him. Craig is getting himself right next to Harry 7 there.
yeah, really nice move around the outside. Can he make it stick? I think
I
Harry
think he
just
has.
had to back out a little bit
Yeah,
there. But can he get the over-under done? No, he's just sticking behind. Nice move from Craig there, but stuff like that where you're just going to slow each other down. But then if you believe you're the quicker of the two of you, you want to be out in front and you want to be able to try and catch up
there you
and get
go.
those moves done. So you can take that defensive line on the inside just for the chicane, dart back over. It gives Harry the inside again. Does Harry go for it? No, he backs
No, he
out,
doesn't.
but a little bit squirrely from Craig going through the chicane. And it's a great
It,
battling from them, but I think yeah, at this point it's a battle
I tell
between
you though,
them and
Jimmy,
Harry and
it's
Andy on.
it's a battle between them, but with them two fighting, that has put Ryan Clark back into the mix there as well. He was coming into the shot just as we cut away from it in the orange and black Mercedes. That did allow him to catch back up. He was about just over a second behind, and with that now he's got himself to just under half a tenth to Harry 7 and Craig Corish just ahead of him.
Uh, yeah, well, 5 tenths, isn't it, off of Harry 7, dropping back a little bit. I think Harry did also back off a little bit as well from that, but 6.5 seconds now in with 8 minutes in. I think if they keep losing time the way they are doing, like we said, is Harry and Andy's race for P1 and P2. I think at this point it's those the two Spectra boys on Craig there for who gets that P3. Because I mean Ryan is definitely still in the mix if those two are battling. Any sort of bumping or mistakes from over defending or over attacking or whatever happens, I think this could put Ryan fully in contention to just slip through and get that P3. So yeah, definitely want us to watch this race.
No, absolutely. It's one I'm going to definitely be keeping an eye on as well, especially with those times. If it gets any closer, I think I'm going to have to cut back to it. You've got James Moore as well here now, down in the arms, chasing a Raymond in front of him. 3 attempts in it at the moment. He's going to be looking to get a move done as well. We know how strong James Moore is as well.
Yeah, and just looking down further down the field, Elmer Van Beek. What happened with him then? I think it might have been an issue with the timing board, but 5 seconds currently off of Mike Chadwick when originally he was 11 seconds. So he's definitely working his way back up. And I mean, there's a couple big gaps in there up higher up the field, but certainly lower in the field, everyone's still grouped together so much that I think it shouldn't be a problem for Elmer to get back in the running.
See Matt Down, while you're talking there, Jimmy, he's got himself now under a second with a car in front of him. Matt Down obviously having dropped back a little bit earlier on in the race, down in 16th at the minute. He's got Adrian Hadfield in front of him. He's under a second to him, so he's going to be looking to pick off another one shortly as well. And it looks like Daniel Paul. Oh yeah, I saw his name dropping down the leaderboard. What has happened there? As we jump to him, he's in the middle of a wall.
So I think he was looking to go on the inside there. He was kind of middle of the track a little bit more than he would be over on the far left hand side. I think he's trying to show his nose to the driver in front, and he's just taking that awkward line into the chicane and caused himself a bit too much damage there. But we do have, luckily in this league, we have what's known as a fast repair, so the drivers can dip into the pit lane, instantly fix the car, and get back out and running again. It doesn't affect your tires, and it doesn't affect your fuel, but it will fix the car. So a normal
It'll
pit
put
stop will work as a normal pit stop, but if you got damage, at least you can get back out and get back in the running.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It'll pop that bumper back on that we saw fly off at the when as he hit the wall and any other damage that's there. But like Jim said, doesn't affect your tires, doesn't affect your fuel. Away you go. You've still got to do your pit later on in the race. Just hope he doesn't fall too far behind there, does Daniel? Because he's a strong driver. He's an absolutely brilliant racer. A great guy to speak to. Finished P1 in the AMS last week, Jimmy.
Yeah, so he's definitely got the talent to be up near the front. Yeah, 16 seconds off at the back. It's going to be a challenge, but I mean, as we saw, Elmer Van Beek, he had a similar challenge, and he's now working his way back up through the field. Only 10 minutes in, so I reckon we'll expect to see in the next 10 minutes Daniel Paul on the back of Casper Roost and working his way back up through the field.
No, absolutely. Sorry, I just thought I'd have a quick check on my notes from previous races while I had a look at that. Daniel Paul has actually finished P1 in the AMS the last 2 weeks running as well. Very strong contender in the AMS there. So, yeah, I 100% agree with you. He's going to be absolutely catching the drivers in front of him as soon as he can.
Yeah, and you want to be kind of battling. No one wants to be that driver that's stuck a bit further behind, but We are seeing a big gap starting to form with the drivers up near the front. Harry Seven dropping off the back of Craig Corish there as Craig Corish fights for that P3 position. Ryan Clark then falling 1.5 seconds now off the back
Yeah,
of
even
Harry
further
Seven.
behind. Even further
Yeah,
behind he's fell.
see, I'd have thought with a
Wow.
short track like this, it would really bunch them up a bit more, but I guess it is a bit more technical than most short tracks we go on. It's not a short track, but still a minute long, but it is a very windy, very technical track. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. We'll do an onboard of it fairly soon, and you'll see what the drivers are having to deal with at the moment. But there are still some big gaps big groups forming here with Sean, James, and Matthew, and the other James as well.
No, we'll have a little keep on board, see if anyone does swap positions here. Sean obviously looking at the back of James Vardigans at the moment, who's within half a tenth of Matt Massey in front of him. James Moore leading this little gaggle of cars, as you like to call them there, Jim. Do like that word. But no, like you said, we'll jump on board with one of them a little bit later because I think it really lets everybody know what these guys can see. Because half of this track, you can't see anything. The way
Yeah,
I've
I mean,
driven it before, anyway. I'm looking at
sorry, just
walls most of the time.
Harry Seven though gaining quite a lot of time actually now. I don't know where the pace has suddenly come from, but he's now only half a second off Craig Corr, so he's back in that fight for that P3 position. Ryan Clark now 2 and a bit seconds off, so it's difficult to tell whether Craig had a I'd say suboptimal lap or if Harry Seven has suddenly just pulled a bunch of pace out of nowhere and is really like pushing hard to get that P3 position. But either way, the fight is now back on, and the drivers are now a bit closer together. James Vardigan's here, very close behind Matthew Massey, and is going to be looking to want to make that move and try and get back a bit further up the field for the AMs here. I mean, we've often seen Moore and Vardigans so close together on track the entire time,
Oh
and we're
yeah,
seeing it at the moment, just split by Matthew Massey at the moment. So I wouldn't be surprised if they finish.
side by side, pretty much again, or fighting like they usually are.
Yeah.
No, it is a battle that we do see quite often with them two. Like you said, he'll be looking to make that move, get that move done, to get them back up together, fighting along with each other as soon as he can. We're up to nearly a quarter of the way through this race. We always say it's a 60-minute race. You don't need to get things done early, but you don't want to drag your heels about it either, do you, Jim? I'd be looking at trying to make some moves now before we start looking at the pit kind of zone that we're going to be looking at probably in about the next 15-ish or so minutes.
Yeah, I think you want to be ideally the person in front of whoever you're battling when you pit. It gives you that bit more advantage, and if you get a slightly bad entry into the pits, it compounds because the person behind you then has to account for your bad entry into the pit. So it makes your life a little bit easier. Whereas you don't want to be that guy that gets slowed down on pit entry and possibly makes a mistake or anything like that. But I don't know, we've talked about it in the past. Sometimes if you're the driver behind, it sometimes pays to be behind because when you're in
Yeah,
that slipstream, you can get that, you can sort of lift off the throttle a bit more. You can do a bit of fuel saving, and then if you can do it well enough, you can go that extra lap on the tires that you're familiar with and on a lighter car. And you only get that fresh air when the person in front of you pits, and then you get that clean air, not having
yeah.
to get worried about anything in front of you. You can
Oh,
get that
stop.
really
Raymond
nice
Van
lap done.
Suppen. Sorry, Jim. Raymond Van Suppen taking a little detour around the track there. Let's have a quick look at that. Sorry to interrupt you there, buddy.
That's all right. Let's see what happens here. Almost like he was trying to avoid getting onto that dirt on the end, and I think he just over rotated the car going into there and just spun the back end out.
Yeah, so I just caught it as we were coming around the
I
corner
don't
there,
know.
just midway during. No, but if you want to carry on, please feel free.
I was just saying, yeah, sometimes this early on in the race, it can pay to be. Oh, you see that drift going on in the background with the Porsche?
I did absolutely.
I,
Adrian Hadfield there taking a big Tokyo drift, as I like to call him, around the corner there.
yeah, you
Chucking
see
a
that
lot
mud
of
flying off
debris
the
all
car.
over the track, all that dirt and debris, chucking it all over the track for
Yeah,
everybody
it's gonna
else
make it
to
a little
drive through.
sketchy going through there. But now all I was saying was, yeah, sometimes it pays to be that driver who's the second in your battle of cars because you can then it gives you almost that pit advantage in a different way if you can fuel save and go that extra lap than the driver in front. But sometimes you can't make it happen, and if you can't, it massively pays to be the driver in front. So this is where that strategy comes on in the pit stop. So
No, it really, really does. But you're talking about sitting there being the driver in front. At the minute, I'm looking at the way Matthew Downs is driving, and I'm thinking with the time that he's gaining on Sean Clark in front of him, I'm thinking he wants to get past him. I don't think he. I think he wants to be the driver in front of this one. There's a couple of cars right in front of Sean Clark in James Vardigan's and Matt Massey as well. They're right for the taking, and Matthew Down is looking at all three of them, four of them, sorry, including James Moore right now.
Yeah, and then you can see Christopher Haynes a little bit further ahead, but it's still. I think they're still within contention of being able to get past a lot of them, and then it's still once he gets past them, it's not far from Jordan Butler. And then Jordan Butler, there's a bit of a gap to Baz Cutting there with the sort of top group of pros. So I think he's definitely in the running for P7, Matthew Downers, but he has also got to fight Matthew Massey, who is another pro, and he's not going to want to lose position. So
No,
yeah, it's going to be
absolutely not.
interesting when he
But
tries to work his way through that group of cars.
talking to the pros, I'm just going to switch over to the AMs. James Vardigan's getting very close to the back of Matthew Massey, the pro in front of him. He's going to be wanting to jump in very soon, so he can look to get towards the podium spots for the AMs there, because he's got Jordan Butler still sitting in P1 with Christopher Haynes and James Moore still taking up the podium spots. So James Vardigan's for his own race, he's going to need to get past Matthew Massey, or he's going to need to push him along and get the two of them further up the field.
Yeah, so I just saw it quickly then. Andy White setting fastest lap of the race. I believe it was a 1 minute 3.3. So this is the drift we saw in the background.
Yeah,
No, not
so I
quite.
think
So
it wasn't quite a drift. He just took to the corner a bit too quick and ended up drifting over to the left hand side of the track. I don't think
does
he has
he?
any further issue after that.
I think this is where he goes off, though, isn't it?
Is this where it
Isn't
goes
it?
off? I thought it was the corner towards the start. Oh yeah,
This is the drift that we saw. Ah, okay, it wasn't quite a drift, but definitely
yeah.
taking
Just
liberties with the track limits there. Just
taking the long way round. But you do want to watch those track limits, though, James. Don't you? Like we say every single week with these British tracks, they are typically British when it comes to following the rules on them. The track limits are so tight on this one.
yeah, there's the thing about British tracks, and we've seen it all throughout the season so far, is they're very unforgiving when you go off. There's no runoff, there's no extra tarmac really anywhere. It's basically you go off, there's grass, and then there's a wall. So you need to be very careful when you
Yeah.
go off.
There's a lot more than just a few penalty points at stake. Potentially race ending if you crash that wall hard enough, especially late on in the race and you haven't got enough time to make it back. But one of them slowly making it back, Dan Paul getting himself up to P18 at the moment. James has picked off Mike Chadwick at the back of the pack.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting as well, Matthew Down as well, working his way up, gone past Sean Clark already, and he's on the back of James Vardigans now, wanting to make that
Well,
want to make that move down.
it's such a close group of cars that as soon as you get past one, you're going to immediately be on the next one, and that's where he's found himself right now. And he's getting himself right towards the middle of that pack of cars. There's a lot of spaces here to be made up there. But I tell you what, Jim, I think it's around about that time. Then shall we jump on board with Matt Down as he tries to do some of these overtakes? As he gets another one done, is he going to get it done past James Vardigan? He gets himself out in front. Tucks, yeah, James Vardigan tucks himself back behind Matthew Down, gaining another position. But Jimmy, shall we have a look at Matt Down? Should we jump on board with him as we like to each and every week?
Yeah, we can do. I mean, we showed the people at home what the drivers are dealing with as they go around this sort of minute-long Donington Park circuit. So we're just coming up to the final chicane now, and then we'll hop on board and have a look at what they're doing in this race.
So you've got
So
half a tenth to the car in front, Jimmy, but let's see what you can do in that lap while you're on board. Take it away, sir. Sorry.
yeah, so we've got the start finish straight here. Then we're going to go into a beautiful long right-hander where you're basically going to be dipping your left two tires onto the dirt as you go around, carry as much speed as you can through. You can see them drag it all the way out onto the right, and then we get this amazing downhill S section here where you got to be flat out all the way through, and then you're braking and turning as you go into this amazing right-hander. Clip the curb on the inside there and go as wide as you dare to carry all that speed through over here. Then you're going to go over that curve slightly up into this big elevation up the left-hander onto another immediate right-hander. It's a very flowing, very fast track. Again, getting more elevation as you come out of here into this uphill, blind, almost 90-degree right-hander. You can't really see where that apex is, so you have to know where you're aiming before you go through it. Then it's flat out again through another right-hander, down the back straight, and then we hit this really kind of high speed chicane where you got to be very careful. A lot of bumps beforehand, so you got to be careful when you're slowing down just beforehand. And then as you come out the chicane, flat on the throttle, going as wide as you can to carry all that extra speed through, and that is a lap of Donington Park National. Very short track, but you can see it's very sketchy. You've got to go as far as you can, using all the sides of the track to carry all that extra speed through. You don't want to be over rotating the car because it's going to slow you down so much in the long run. It is technical, but it is a very fast, flowy, fun track. And I mean, we've used the term roller coaster before to describe a lot of British tracks, and I think describes it perfectly. There's lots of ups and downs and wavy bits, and yeah, I just really like that sort of like the uphill into a blind right-hander. It's so crazy for some of these drivers. But let's take a look at what's happened to Sean Clark here.
He
Again,
gets on
not
the gas a
tracking
little
out
too
wide
soon.
enough, and
Yeah.
then yeah, I just don't. I think they're being a little bit too careful about going wide, and I think it's that over rotation is I think it's costing them a little bit.
I'll tell you what, Jimmy, I absolutely love those on board. I think the only thing that would have made it a little bit better. Oh, Sean Clark now in the wall. That is unfortunate for him. What has happened there when he's got back on track? So he's tracked back out wide again.
Onto the dirt, onto the
Just lost it,
gravel,
hasn't
onto
he?
the tarmac.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when all your tires are going over different surfaces and they get that dirty, then you go straight onto the tarmac. It's so difficult to catch that grip again. But again, fast repairs, pit stops coming up soon. If he can last a couple more laps, he should be able to
Well,
just dip in and fix the car at the same time he has his pit stop, and he won't lose too much time.
he's still in 16th, so don't get me wrong, he's not high at the boards, he's not near the podium spots for his class at the moment. But he has been dipped down to no, he's gone into the pit lane now. So yeah, he must have had some damage on there, Jim. Oh. But no, sorry, just jumping back to your onboarding Matt down, absolutely loved it again, by the way. I think the only thing that would have made it a little bit more perfect was if we'd got an overtake just there, just like we saw Elmer Van Beek. I mean, Adrian Hadfield, sorry, go around Elmer Van Beek just there, and now Elmer picking up a little bit of a slowdown, which won't help him.
No, but I mean, when if we see another driver get a bit closer, I think it'd be quite cool if we can get on board and then just see
No, I was
how
just
they handle
thinking,
those overtakes and how they get them done. Elmer Van Beek definitely is going to be wanting to get past Adrian Hadfield here, so he's cleared his slowdown penalty. As soon as he gets close enough in that few tenths, I think it'd be good to go on board.
no, definitely. I think if we get in that position where we can jump on board as the overtakes are going on, Jim, and you can let us know potentially how it varies up to a standard lap there, like you just told us all. Like that'd be really, really interesting, I think, for the guys at home watching along with us, just to get that idea for anyone who doesn't race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, he's definitely, you can see him taking these different lines, showing his nose, going wide around the outside. Can he carry the speed through? Not quite. He's alongside enough. I think he deserved that room on there, and he's just leaving that little room on the left-hand side. He's now fully ahead and gets that move done. As soon as you see an opportunity, you've got to take it in these series, and then you don't want to be slowed down too much because he's got 14 seconds now to make the move on James Vardigans, and
No,
he's
no,
in.
Jimmy. Sorry, I just want to jump back to that one. You saw the little tap between the two of them as we came round, and you said he absolutely deserved that space there. Like, just explain that one because obviously it's a little coming together. There's not really much going on, but what do you really mean by that? That's his space because there seems to be a little bit of extra track there to the right hand side.
Well, when you look at the shape of the corner, I mean, you're going to expect the driver on your inside to go a little bit wider. There's no point in squeezing them too much, especially if you know they've got the pace over you. Sometimes it's smarter to just keep that defensive line, keep them near the edge of the track, slow them down a little bit in hopes that you can get back past. But sometimes you've got to be sensible because it's such a high speed part of the track. They're going flat out through there, you're going to expect the driver to not be able to hit that apex as perfectly. It's just like, yeah, I mean, he held his line as best as he could, but you've got to expect where the drivers are going to be, not just
Yeah,
where they are at the moment. I mean, he has a right to squeeze him as far as he wants over, but sometimes being sensible is better than being being
yeah.
correct in
No,
in some of
no,
these
I can.
moves.
No, I completely get you. And thank you for the explanation on that one, Jimmy. Because obviously you see it in certain sports, you can't touch anyone like that. So that's why I say at the start of the race, it's great when we do get a little bit of paint trading like that because you can do it.
Yeah, I mean it's not. I mean you don't want to be doing it every single time you go past someone, as we're seeing here with Matty Down. just gives plenty of room, goes on the inside, gets the move done, and then he goes back over when needed. And you
Yeah, I
can
don't know.
see this is what I was talking about there. If we can go back and take a look at that from an aerial view of where they position their cars.
Did
So
James Moore take a little bit? Yeah, I thought he took it a little bit wider than he should have done there.
I think he was expecting Matthew Down. Well, I think they were expecting each other to be in different places, but you could see that they leave enough room for each other. They're not squeezing each other too hard because they know this bit is flat out and you don't want to cause any accidents.
No,
And
you could put another car in that gap there. Plenty of space.
yeah,
Beautiful, clean driving, clean overtake. Another position gain there from Matthew down up to P9. So just to remind you all, as we come up to that halfway point, 27 minutes in at the moment. Andy White leading the way still very since the start of this race. He's been in P1, followed by Harry Price in P2. Little bit of a gap there between them, about 8.5 seconds at the moment. With Craig Corish back up to P3, about 6.5 seconds off of them. So we're not seeing a huge gap like we normally see, Jim, on this one with them two leading the way. So Craig is doing that job of keeping that gap down. Harry 7 then just behind them, P4, about 5.5 seconds off them at the moment, but we're going pits up. Anything can happen. Ryan Clark down in P5, followed by Baz Cutting. Down in P7 on track, P1 in the AMS. Jordan Butler still leading the way and pretty much has done since the start of the race. Mr. Consistent indeed, followed by Christopher Haynes, P8 on track, P2 for the AMS. Matthew Down, as we said a second ago, working his way through up to P9 at the moment, with James Moore, P10 out on track, P3 in the AMS, that's your podium spots. In that little gaggle of cars, though, Jim, and I'm really starting to love that word. Matt Massey down in P11 with James Vardigans just behind him in P12, followed by Elmer Van Beek in P3, and a little swap around there. Matt Massey up to P11 with James Vardigans down to P12, Elmer Van Beek in P13, Adrian Hadfield down to P14 with Raymond Van Sutton in 15th. Dan Paul working his way slowly up the leaderboard, sitting down in 16th with Casper Roost in 17th, Mike Chadwick in 18th, and Sean Clark at the back of the pack at the moment in 19th. So we didn't get Simon coming out racing with us, so we got the 19, James.
yeah. I mean, 90 is good. I think a good field size for everyone, and we'll probably start to see people getting it lapped fairly soon. But we also got the pit stops coming up soon as well, so it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with those because we're nearing that halfway point of the race. We'll start to see people in the next 5 minutes or so dipping into the pits, getting a bit of fuel, and I'll be interested to see who changes tyres and who doesn't. It's difficult to see when they do just through the screens that we've got, but you'll be able to see it from the longer pit stops who gets further down the field, and yeah, it should be interesting.
No, it should be. We always see a couple of smart pit stops moves. I think we've got at least one or two every week, Jimmy, where the undercut's gone on, or maybe the overcut just by sitting in that clean air for that extra lap has just got them that extra little bit when they've gone in and they've maintained that position. And I do say every week I think pit stop strategies are key.
Yeah, and I mean, because of the big gaps as well now, you've got to if you practiced where you're going to be pitting and your pit stops, I think it can gain you quite a bit of time. But I think it's that second part of the race we're going to start to see people pushing as hard as they absolutely can, and I think that's when we'll start to see them grouping it up a little bit. Matthew down there about to make the move on Christopher Haynes, and again we could potentially go on board with him and just see how he's handling the overtake here. But he's got so much more speed coming out of that chicane. But he's a little bit further back. He can't quite make the move now, but we'll see him. I'm going to guess through the S's section, he should be just far enough on back that he can get that move done around the outside.
So we'll stick on board for a little bit more of this lap, Jimmy, because we really do like these cockpit views. They are great to look at, see what these drivers are having to do whilst trying to make that move. And obviously he's dropped off a little bit, but like you said, up to the S's, I think is where you'll start to think about it.
Yeah, and it's just watching the wheel now. You can see just small, precise movements. He's not overcorrecting. He's not overdriving the car. He just knows exactly where he's positioning that wheel. Very smooth driving there from Matthew Down, and yeah, it's interesting to see. I mean, I reckon you probably go to a few other drivers that'll be wrestling with those cars, trying to get the most out of them, and yeah, I think it's the difference between. There you go.
Yeah,
You can see
wrestling
how
the
much more the
cars
wheel.
away around absolute perfect timing there. Thank you to our cameraman for that one. James Vardigan's on cue. Yeah, you can really see it, James, can't you? The difference there when someone's having to wrestle the car.
Yeah, a lot more like harsher, stronger movements. Dipping into that pit lane there, so much speed, very quick in there. Did he manage to make it slow down in time? I
He
don't
was
see a penalty
very,
coming up
very
on his
quick.
board, so he must have timed that to perfection to
There
carry
you
that
go.
speed going into the.
So a little added boost as well, Jim. We've got the pit times now, so we'll be able to see how long these guys are in to possibly work out if they've changed tyres or not.
Yeah, there we go. So let's have a look. 24.1 from Baz there. So I think that's the standard at the moment. Anyone below that is probably 23.5. So a little bit less
Oh,
fuel from Elmer Van Beek there.
is that going to
24.8,
include tyres?
26.1.
Is that going to
Oh,
include tyres though, Jim?
no, that seems like just a normal pit stop, really. I don't see any tyre changing going on just there.
So it seems
I
like
think,
everybody's going to keep the tyres because it's a long race. It's like you said, it's nearly a minute a race. Well, just over a minute a race, Jim. We've got nearly 60 laps we're going to be doing here.
yeah, everyone's kind of around the same amount of time. It's a lot of laps, but I think because of maybe how flowing the track is and the track temps and the fact that everyone's spaced out a little bit and not having to overdrive the cars too much, that they can go a bit longer on some of these tyres. Matthew Down, though,
Whoa, picking up a
what's happened to
black
him?
flag. He's had a spin out. He's picked up a black flag for it as well. So I can only imagine he's reached his pit incident limit there, Jim. So, but he's gone over to the pits now. So there must have been a little bit of damage. He's not putting himself out of the race now, surely.
Oh, it's difficult to tell. I mean, we'll have to go back and take a look at that incident. But I am looking at the now I'm looking at the board. Daniel Paul with a pit stop of 18.3 seconds.
That is very, very quick.
So I'm wondering if maybe everyone but Daniel Paul is changing tyres.
Oh, Jimmy, real quick, Matthew Down out of the session.
Out the session.
He's put
Oh,
himself out of the session for that one. We'll definitely have to have a look back and see what happened to him there to
I,
cause that one.
yeah, I think he must be a bit frustrated there. I mean, he's got a lot of fans in the
Instant
YouTube
limit
chat,
race.
so I think they'll.
So, so there's the confirmation. Sorry, Jim, for that one. The incident limit has been reached for him. So that's why the black flag come. I am interested to see what happened though, because when we jumped on with him, he was racing a little bit of the wrong way, doing some spins.
Yeah, we'll go back and take a look at that momentarily. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe everyone's kind of changing tyres, and then it's just Daniel Paul that hasn't, unless Daniel Paul pitted early for an incident. So let's take a look at what happened to Matthew Down here. Oh, it's a big old skid.
That's a very big
And
old skid.
I suppose, yeah, if he changed tyres and was on cold tyres going around there as fast as he can, you're just
He
going
was
to
on.
lose the car, aren't you? And then
Tell
black
you,
flag. Ah, he was
that
far
is
enough up the field
unfortunate.
that I feel like he could have served the penalty and gone back out and would have been all right. But
Yeah, but I think it's one of them. He dropped down earlier on in the race in the gym, and he's already had to work his way back up. And what did he go up to? About P9, wasn't it? I think when we last checked in with him, and he was absolutely flying. Maybe just that was tough, and he'd had enough for the night. Maybe on that one, I guess we won't know for sure why he's put himself out of that one. But no, I'm with you. I think he had more than enough time to get himself back out there and potentially work his way back up there. He's been very, very strong this race. Yeah, we've seen him a lot on the cameras tonight, Jim. He's been giving us probably a little bit of the best racing out there that we've had so far, going through those 4 or 5 cars that he had around him.
so just quickly, there was a spin before that as well. No tyre change either. So oh yeah, so I guess they were just no tyre changes between anyone. Must have just been just a little bit overdriving. It's difficult to. You don't want to see anyone kind of getting frustrated and leaving a race, but he was doing well. I feel like with 30 minutes to go, he could have got back up to where he was before.
No, he
So
definitely could have
to
done
keep
it.
an eye on everyone else there. We got,
Yeah,
like I said before as well, the two Jameses battling together once again. See it a lot of these races. Daniel Paul, though, working his way up, not too far behind Raymond Van Zutphen. Elmer Van Beek has done very well, starting from the back, getting up into the fight, up to P12, so P5 in class. One,
P5
two, three, four,
indeed.
five, yeah.
Yeah,
And
P5.
sorry,
So I
sometimes
like
it's
to.
difficult to see out of
Well,
clock.
no, I completely understand. When they're all jumbled up like that and they're swapping positions, it can be hard to read sometimes.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how James Elmer Van Beek gets through the next couple. See if he can get into that top 10 overall position and start fighting for that P3 in class because those Jameses will be working together. I mean, they are teammates, and yeah, they're definitely not going to want to let Elmer through at all. So we'll have to see. But then again, they're also going to want to be fighting for that P3 position, aren't they?
No,
So
well,
it's difficult to.
James Moore got it last week, and James Moore got it the week before that, And no, I don't think he did. No, he didn't have the week before that at Silverstone though. But James Moore has been up there in P3, Jim, in 4 of these 6 races so far.
Yeah, he seems to like a podium spot there. So
Happy and
the fact
content
he's
down in P3.
yeah.
But
Yeah, we
no, it's
are
going to be
starting
an
to see the field
interesting one.
spread out a little bit. It's just the two Jameses at the moment who are close together. Elmer Van Beek, though, gaining nearly a second in that last lap to the Jameses. So, I think who was that? He's just had a bit of a moment. Christopher Haynes just going off there, getting a bit of a slowdown. I think he's feeling a bit wary on those old tyres, and he's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, someone else who did have a slowdown, but we'll have a talk about that one in a second. Let's have a look at Christopher Haynes though now, Jim.
Yeah, it's just look. Yeah, it just goes in way too hot. Goes a little bit too
It's
hard.
had
Too much gravel, and then it just allows the Jameses to nip on through because yeah, dirt isn't as quick as tarmac unless you're in a little rallycross car. But
would be pretty interesting to try and see a rallycross version of this track, Jim. Classic track. I don't think they're going to put a rallycross version of it in.
I do like a bit of rallycross though.
No, it's brilliant. It's rallycross. Sadly, it's not one of the sports that we get here, though. There is a few other ones though. The bikes do absolutely love it round here, and at one point, like we know, Jimmy, it did used to do a bit of Formula One here from time to time.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I never like because that was before my time. I'm not too familiar with Formula One racing here. Do we know which layout they or the same move in reverse from Christopher Haynes there? James
James
Moore just
Moore
going off.
dropping out wide. Yeah,
I
James
like
Moore
Christopher
dropping
Haynes.
out wide there, and letting Chris Fane's back through in that position. The James has been split for now. Let's have a look. So he's up on the inside of him. He goes over. He's got a lot of speed as he goes through there. He tracks out immediately wide, hits that grass, and lets Christopher Haynes go back on through. Literally, pretty much parallel move for move.
Alright, so we've got 20 minutes to go in the race. Big gap starting to form between the drivers at the moment. It's going to be mostly down to how they navigate through the lapped traffic. We're looking on board with Andy White here. And you can see when we're on board with Andy White, the cars in blue are ones that he's gotten past pretty much already, I believe. So, yeah, so Harry Seven, Craig Corrish, Harry Price, and Andy White all on the lead lap together. And yeah, big gap starting to form through some of the drivers. 10 seconds to Harry Price, with 10 seconds to Craig Corrish, 10 seconds to Harry Seven. It's going to be tough in the next 20 minutes to make up that time, but they're going to have to really push to catch up.
Yeah, there's a lot of times we made up here between each of the drivers. I don't think there's no one, well, Ryan Clark just jumping into that, getting within a second of Baz cutting. So we'll keep on board with that one at the moment, as these two guys are the closest. But no, it's going to be a difficult one in the last 20 minutes for these guys with so much gap between them. You'd want to be closer to them, wouldn't you, really?
Yeah, you ideally want to be within that sort of second mark at this point because final moves you kind of really want to get done with about 10 minutes to go, and then you kind of want to hold position for the last 10 minutes rather than.
Uh,
I mean, I start to see Christopher Haynes though working his way back up. Can he make the move on James Vardigan to see if he can get back ahead, reclaim his P2 spot? I think he's going to be wanting to gun for that. And yeah, James Vardigan is now in P2. Jordan Butler leading the way this entire way though. Matthew Massey 10 seconds behind. I think he's got a good buffer for that P1 position. But yeah, Jordan Butler very just great consistent lap and race here going on.
he sets it he does it every single time. Like, unless there's an incident out on track, which we have seen a couple of times over the last couple of seasons with him, like he has just been very, very consistent. He always sits very strongly in the pack. I always kind of call him out for not being put with the pros because he's usually up there in amongst them. And technically, with Matt Massey sitting behind him at the moment with such a gap as well, you've got to say he's sitting right in between the pros. So no, very strong, very good driver, Jimmy. So I was just thinking back to a second ago when you said there was a rallycross track here. I don't ever think they'll do it, Jim, because this is one of those all-time classic tracks. It's like it's I think it's got the title of the oldest permanent racing track still in use.
Oh wow.
Because it's been going since 1931. Yes, I did do a little fact check on that one. Obviously, that's not just sitting right there, but it is a really old classic track. I don't see them turfing it up to put a rallycross track in the middle of it.
What year did you say that was?
1931 it started on, but it did start with bikes initially, though. It wasn't no cars on there.
Okay, so oldest track in the UK.
No, I think that's anywhere actually, Jim. I think that's worldwide. The official oldest permanent racing track still in use anywhere.
Okay, maybe that means untouched again, because I'm pretty sure Monza's older than that. Monza's like 1920s, isn't it? Yeah. Just do a quick
I'll have
Google.
to look.
Monza 1922.
Just while you look at
Monza
that one,
built.
Ryan Clark did just track slightly wide there, gave himself a little bit of a wobble from left side to the right side of the track, picking up a little bit of dirt as he went through. No positions lost though. He's back up to about half a tenth behind Baz Cutting though, just in front of him in P5 at the moment. Just broke that half a second barrier, so he's going to be essentially looking to get that move done. Hopefully, their tyres are all holding up quite well, but with these gaps, they're not going to be doing much actual racing. They're just more driving, so there shouldn't be too much going through them in terms of grinding them out and possibly wearing them down too quickly. But Ryan Clark here getting now, James, just under 3 tenths behind Baz Cutting, looking out to the side of him at the moment, letting him know that he is there.
Yeah, he's looking to make that move. He's itching, and then Baz going a little bit wide. Really allows Ryan to kind of gain that extra time on him, and he's going to be hunting him down over those next few laps. So it's down for 17 minutes to go. Can Baz hold off Ryan Clark through to the end of the race?
It's going to be that's still quite a while of solid racing. He's going to be absolutely exhausted if he does manage to do it. His Baz. So let's see what he can do. He's always quite vocal in the chat. Let's see if he can hold it down with his racing tonight.
Yeah, I mean we haven't seen Baz driving yet, so obviously we can't comment on how good a driver he is. But we have seen Ryan Clark he's a quick driver as well. He's definitely in that pro division. So I think Baz has got his work cut out for him. But I don't think Baz is a stranger to these GT3s, so he'll be able to hold his own pretty well. Sean Clark, he's really
Taking
not
another
liking
little wobble.
that
No, he's not
that
having a
corner
good time tonight.
there.
He's not
I think
enjoying it. He's got himself back over again, had a little wobble, flung himself over to the right hand side. Luckily, there's no wall there, plenty of runoff space for him. He's really not enjoying his track tonight.
No, that one particular corner does seem to be catching a lot of them out. I guess it's because of how much speed you have to carry through, and like it's as we saw, Donington is a very bumpy track, and when you're going high speed, it's bumpy. Your tires are old. They're gonna have that less grip than you think, and it is easy to just lose the car a little bit because it's this corner coming up here, so you're dabbing on the brakes, but trying to carry as much speed as you can through, seeing the cars there, a little bit unsettled on the way in. A lot of them cutting that curb on the inside to shorten that distance through the corner and
I tell
get a
you what,
better
Jimmy,
straight line out of it.
with how bumpy and like you said, and I know you it's not. I know you don't really like the term because it said quite a lot about tracks, like the roller coaster kind of track. Could you imagine being on a bike on on this track? That'd be absolutely terrifying. Some of the speeds they go, especially in 1931 when health and safety wasn't really a thing either.
I mean, I don't want to brag, but I have been up to
Oh,
10 miles an hour on a motorbike before, so I think I know what I'm talking about here. And yeah, they are very just being on a motorbike alone is scary enough, I think, and then
Jimmy,
flying through the speeds they do with people
hey,
alongside, back in
hey,
front of them as
yeah.
well. And
Hey, if we're going to talk about bikes, Jimmy, then you need to know I used to ride a bike. So don't come up with that one. So I've been a lot quicker than 10 mile an hour. I'm not going to say just how fast, though, just in case there's any officials do here. But uh, but no, good old steady Jim, eh? Steady Jim at 10 mile an hour.
and do you know what the worst part about it is?
Go on.
I crashed into a wall.
Right, instantly, what just came to my head was like a Jay from the In-Betweeners moments for people around about our age in the chat. If you get that one, if you don't get that reference, either ask your parents or Google it. But don't come back to me on what you find on that particular show. I'm not going to talk about that one. But Jimmy, how did you end up crashing a bike into a wall at 10 mile an hour?
Oh, it was so I mate, shout out to Damien. Let me have a go on his motorbike, and I was driving along. He kind of like just run me through how to drive it and change gears and all that fun stuff, and then
All that
put
fun
all the
stuff.
kit on.
I've never heard someone describe it as all that fun stuff.
Well, you know,
He
what I mean, you know. But then we sat on the bike, and then he was like, "All right, so yeah, just go here." And then obviously off you go. And then we started going, and he had like a steering lock on it in case it got stolen, and he didn't
Round the
disable it.
disc of the brake, is it?
I
On the
didn't know
actual
what it was doing, but
handlebars.
I couldn't actually turn the handlebars. So I started going, accelerating, thinking that I could just turn when the corner came up, and then bam, straight into a wall. And yeah, down I went. So yeah,
Oh,
very short
Jimmy.
ride. And I mean, it wasn't
Jim.
my fault. But after that, I
So,
was like, man,
so
maybe that's a sign to not touch a bike. As you see, oh, it's that Harry Seven.
Harry Seven's
He's had a bit of
taking a
spin
spin.
going into the pit lane there.
Did he mean that, or did he spin into that pit lane? Or did he miss the pit lane as he gone? Just decided to go
Oh.
into it real late.
I wonder if maybe he thought that big hit on the bumper might have taken the spoiler off or something, and he's just being careful with it. Took him a little while to get going, so let's have a look at what happened here. Goes through the chicane.
Does he
Is
hit
that
the
bit alright?
curb?
Does that bit alright? Goes wide.
Hits.
Loses that back end. God, they're really losing the back end on these cars around this track.
He touched the sausage on the left hand side ever so slightly. I don't know if that possibly has pushed him over that tiny little bit more than necessary to make that next hand turn on the right there, Jim. But no,
Yeah,
that's unfortunate for him.
you could see him as he went over that little sausage curve on the inside. It did unsettle the car and did get a little bit
Yeah,
wobbly. You could see
you
him
just saw
fighting
that
with
bit of
it before
movement.
he. Yeah, so I think maybe that. I do wonder if maybe. I mean, we've seen a lot of the rear end slipping out on throughout this season, and I do wonder if maybe it's down to the setups that they've designed for the cars. Maybe they just struggling a little bit with the that sort of late race kind of looser car because you get that less weight from all the fuel, and the tires are a bit old. And maybe if they're going for less wing on the car, especially around Donington because it is so fast and flowy, the less downforce you have, the faster you're going to go, really. But it's going to be that struggle. I think, yeah, they're having to fight it a lot.
No, absolutely. Sorry, Jim. Sorry, Jim. I'm not going to lie. I did have to mute myself off for a second. I just keep having this image of you driving 10 mile an hour into a wall on a bike. And it is an absolute hilarious image to have in my head at the moment. But, Jimmy, trying to get past that one, mate. We have got just over 11 minutes. We're coming up to that 10-minute mark left of the race. Andy White still leading the way. Huge gap down to Harry Price, 13, just over 13 and a half, nearly 14 seconds at the moment. Harry Price got himself a nice little gap to P3 with Craig Corrish, just over 10 seconds at the minute on that one. And there's a gap there down to P4, 17 seconds. Unless anything major happens, I'm pretty much convinced that's going to be your top three towards the end of this race, Jim. But yeah, Baz cutting down in P4 with Ryan Clark down to P5. Jordan Butler down to P6 on track, P1 in the AM, still leading the way, 49 and a half minutes into this race, with a nice little buffer with Matt Massey sitting in P7. Nice little pro sitting between him and James Vardigans down in P8, P2 in class at the moment, with Christopher Haynes taking that last. Oh, a little bit of a swap right as I say that. There you go. There's the customer comes out this week, Jim. Right as I announce the names, Chris Haynes up into a P8 over James Vardigans down to P9, P2, and P3 for the AMs. Harry Seven there down in P10 with James Moore in P11. Elmer Van Beek up into P12 now. He's had a bit of a hard one, but he's working his way back up slowly this race. I think you'd agree, wouldn't you, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one to keep an eye on as well at the moment. Ryan getting so close up behind Baz. It's worth having a look at that fight going on for P4 at the moment. They're right bumper to bumper as we see there. And yeah, James Vargas as well with Christopher Haynes. They're having a great fight with James Moore and Harry Seven all together at the moment. We saw Harry Seven having that moment being a bit further down, or moving him further down the field. But seeing these little gaggles form at near the end of the race, 10 minutes to go. This is when we said you want to get the moves done. So the fact that the cars are getting closer at this point, this is when you want to have those.
We saw it.
And
We saw it towards the start of the race, didn't we? There, Jim, as Harry Seven just looks to take that move on James Vardigans and looks like he's going to get it done and does get it done. Very nice, very clean, very fast there from Harry Seven up to P9. Not really affecting the leaderboards just at the moment. James Vardigans down to P10, but still holding on to P3 in the AMS. But no, it's an interesting one, and it looks like Baz Cutting and Ryan Clark have swapped around now, Jim. So Ryan Clark just getting the move done there on Baz Cutting up to P4. Still a bit of a gap, loads of crap to catch up to Craig Corey showing P3, but that is a fantastic move to finally get that done past Baz. Have to have another look at that one, just see exactly how we got it done.
yeah, Let's have a look. So going through this little corner, takes that really shallow line on the inside, carries way more speed than you think he'd be able to, taking that shallower line, and just gets the move done. So it's going to be down to Baz now to see if he can get the move back before the end of the race, and down to Ryan to keep defensive for the last 10 minutes here. So let's see which of them gets it done. James Vardigan is just pulling a little bit more pace on James Moore, but they're still within half a second of each other. It still could go either way between these two. And as you said before, James Moore getting that podium position 3 out of the last 6 races. So
Yeah, he's going to
yeah,
be looking
he's
to
going to
improve
be
on that one.
he's going to be fighting to get that position done.
Yeah, he'd like to improve on it, but I think with less than 10 minutes to go, Jim, and James Vardigan sitting there in front of him, I think he's going to be looking past the teammates' status and trying to get that one done. You got Harry Seven chasing up on the trying to no, he's going to sit behind him. I thought he was going to try and go around the outside of him there, behind Christopher Haynes up in P8 at the moment. Not really much of a fight between these two either. Christopher would maintain P2 in the AMS, but that would put James Vardigan's back into the mix as well.
Yeah, or you can see he wants to get that inside line there. And then, no, goes for the outside, gets the better line through the chicane here, able to carry that little bit more speed because he's got the optimal line. Gets on the inside, gets that move done, but now he's going to be put on the outside for the next turn. Can Christopher Haynes keep that pace on the inside? He gives him a lot of room there, taking a very shallow line, but he gets in front, and that allows Harry to get the switchback on him. But no, he keeps ahead, and yeah, it's Christopher Haynes' corner here. Harry Seven still forced a bit further back, but ultimately they're fighting for overall position. But the points won't change. Whoever changes place at the end of this. But I think for Christopher Haynes, if you can get that barrier of another car between him and everyone else, it just makes the last few laps a
Well,
bit more
sorry, it
secure.
looks like Harry Seven's made that move go.
He has yeah, he carried a lot of speed through there. I mean, actually, it'd be interesting to see a little replay of that one on a little chase camera, just see how he gets on there. So gets the move done, dives around, gets that inside line nicely, and then yeah, he carries just so much speed. Yeah, beautifully done. Gets ahead. Christopher Haynes forced to stick behind him, but yeah,
Fantastic
good little
move.
battle from those two there. But now it has put James Vardigan's right up behind Christopher Haynes, allowing him to get back in that fight for the P2 position of the race. But so far, we've got Jordan in first place still, massive lead ahead of the rest of the drivers here. So all he's got to do is for the next 6 minutes just keep it calm and collected, and that P1 is his. Christopher Haynes, though, he's going to have to be very tactical with the decisions that he makes, with James Vardigan's and James Moore being so close up behind him. Elmer Van Beek, it's taken him a while, but he has got into the running for that podium position. He again is not too far behind, so one little mistake could put him on that podium. So it's up to him now to
I
get
think
as
he's going to be
close up
hoping the
behind
car.
over his next couple of laps.
Well, I think he's going to be hoping that James is in front of him and go back to what they used to, Jim, and just having a little fight to allow him back in there. Because with 5 minutes left, they're literally just about to stick onto that 5 minute mark left of the race. There's not a lot of time, not a lot of laps left to do this. Probably looking at 4 or 5 laps now.
Yeah, not a lot of laps left to go, and the three of them. I mean, not only is there not a lot of laps left to go, but there's also not many races left of the season. After this one, there's only 2 more races left to go. So the points are going to be most important now. There'll be no like opportunities to make up for a less optimal race further on. Sean Clark though getting a meatball flag. So yeah, meatball flag. Sorry, is that black and orange flag, and it means you've got too much damage and you need to come in and pit. So
Not having a
let's.
good day is Sean Clark. He's not enjoying this race tonight, I don't think.
No, I mean there are tracks that suit some people and tracks that don't, and I think it's fair to say Donington is not a favourite of Sean Clark's at the moment.
No, so with Sean at the back of the pack and pretty much going to be out of the race. I think it's about 10 laps down at the minute. We're just going to be losing the free tonight, Jim. So hopefully we're going to finish with 17 out on track. Maybe, well, hopefully we're going to finish with 18 out on track. I do want Sean to come back out. It's looking like it's going to be 17 to finish this race, Jim. It's been an absolutely great one. We're into our last 5 minutes. Look, before we get to the end of this race, Jim, we got a couple of minutes to think about it. I would like your pro driver of the day before we get to the end of this one. All right, I'm going to give you the AM. I want the pro one from you.
Okay, I'll have a little think before the race is over. I've got a couple ideas in my head already, but
There you go. Well, I think I've got
You know what?
my am in mind already. I'm pretty confident. I've been thinking about it for a little while now.
Okay, do you wanna say your am?
I'll tell you what, we've less than a couple of minutes to go. Absolutely. I'm going to give it to Mr. Consistent. I'm going to give it to Jordan Butler. Look at him. It's absolutely flying up in P1 in the AMs, P6. He's put himself nicely between the pros as well to give himself a nice little bit of a buffer. It's been a brilliant race for him. I'm going to give it to the guy who's been sitting up in P1 since the start because he's well and truly earned it this week. Well done, Mr. Jordan Butler. You are my AM driver of the day.
Yeah, he really has had a really just lovely consistent race throughout here. It's a tough decision because there's been quite a few really good pros out on track this evening. I think I'm between three.
Okay. That's a lot.
And that's
You can only have one.
I know. uh, it's difficult. It's difficult because I mean
But
Andy and Harry have just been so consistent. I mean, it's hard to put them in the running for driver of the day again. We've given them it in the past, and they are just so good. So, I mean, they've had a great race. Craig Corish though, I think getting that third place, not too far off the back of those two. I think I'm gonna have to give it to him because like he hasn't done too much battling, I'd say, this race, but he has held that P3 position so well, and to be so close to the back of Harry and not too far off of Andy either, I think it's got to be him. He's had a
yeah,
really nice, consistent race, and
no,
I think
I think I've got to agree, Jim. Real consistent, mate. I think you're accurate in what you're saying there, and it's something I did say at the start of the race that I was looking forward to seeing if he could do it. He's stopped that huge gap between Andy and Harry down to P3. There's not that 30, 40, 50 second lead that we've seen previous weeks. He's brought it right down, and there you go. He's less than 10 seconds off the pace. I feel that's a huge improvement. It just shows what Craig Corish is. I think he's a very deserved pro driver of the day from yourself, if that's who you're going to give it to.
yeah, I mean it's nearly 55 laps, and he's only 10 seconds off. I think it's such a minimal amount per lap to be that close behind the back of Harry Price there. So yeah, no, he's done a phenomenal job, and I think like I did have Ryan and Baz kind of in my contention, I'd say for because they have done really well as well. Baz also being new to the season and making a name for himself this close already, and then Ryan Clark for just having a really good battle, making some really good moves, and having a really good race here as well. It was tough. I think ultimately I think I had to give it to Craig just for how just beautifully consistent and calm he's driven, and I think that should be rewarded. But not to say that Ryan and Baz didn't also deserve a mention. But
There you
yeah,
go,
so we
Tom.
are coming up now. The final lap of the race, less than a minute to go before it's over. Andy White leading the way. He's got a couple of lapped cars behind him, just moving out of their way now. They would have got blue flagged and told that there was a fast car approaching, so they're just going to let the leader through and then let Andy White finish the race with a. Is that Jordan Butler, I believe, is moving out the way there, letting Andy White through. Just going to go through the chicane, and the race is his. 15 seconds later, we'll see Harry Price going across the line for that. There you go, little wiggle and good race from him there. Wiggle and a flash from him and Jordan. I think they're both going to be very happy for getting those P1s in both the pros and the AMs. And yeah, I'll start to see the rest of the drivers crossing the line over that next minute.
No,
So
it's been a great race today, hasn't it, there, Jim? They've really they've given us a good one. It gapped out a little bit towards the end, but it was a great race overall, I think.
yeah, it did gap out a lot towards the pit stops, but then definitely at the end of the race, a lot of them really pulled it back and to get in to close up those gaps and get a bit closer together. So well done to those drivers. But yeah, little burnouts there. Harry Seven very happy with his result clearly, and yeah, I think a lot of them should be very happy. Is that the Spectra boys all out doing donuts together?
That is the Spectre boys, and I think there's a Flying Dutchman in there as well somewhere.
Yeah, if
Not
you
something
look
I
at
expected to be
within the
saying
smoke
tonight.
somewhere, there, yeah.
There's a Flying Dutchman coming out of the mist. I think Disney did a film about it once. But no, it's been a good one. It's been a good one. It looks like we lost James Vardigans towards the end of the last lap there, Jim, down to P13,
Oh,
which did
blimey.
indeed give James Moore his coveted P3, which he's loved so far this season.
So what's that? Five? No, yeah, 5 out of 6
Four,
races. Has he had?
5 out of 6 races he's had P3.
I think that deserves a good shout out there. So let's
Hey.
look at the overall results at the end of the race and see where everyone finished. So we've got Andy White leading the way, P1 overall, followed by Harry Price P2, and then Craig Corish is P3. So that's your top 3 pros for the race. And we've got Ryan Clark just behind them, with Baz just behind Ryan Clark as well. Very close race between those two. We've got Jordan Butler P1 overall in the AMS, but P6 on position. Then we've got Matthew Massey behind him, Harry Seven, Christopher Haynes, and James Moore are your top 3 in the AMS. Then we have Elmer Van Beek, Daniel Poole, James Vardigans, Adrian Hadfield, Casper Roost, Raymond Van Zutphen, Mike Chadwick, Sean Clark, and then we have just one more with Matthew Down. Was all your drivers out on track this evening? So yeah, good race, especially that first half of the race. Very a lot of close.
I tell you, it's one I'm just going to quickly just bring up there real quick, James. James Vardigan's losing out on P3 on that last lap. I am wondering what happened to him. Hopefully, I can find out, and we'll let you guys possibly know next week. But no, what a great race there, Jimmy. Shall we speak to the couple of the boys that participated this evening?
Yeah, so let's take have a little interview with some of these guys.
So let's bring in our P1 in the AMs. Let's bring in a Mr. Jordan Butler first. I think we'll speak to him. We'd like to speak to Jordan. Jordan, how are you doing, sir? Evening. Congratulations. P1 in the AMs tonight. How are you doing, buddy?
Hello, hello. I'm super happy with that. How's everyone?
I think we're all
Yeah, I
very
think
good here.
we're all very, very good, mate. We're all very good. But how are you doing? How are you feeling after that race?
Yeah, I'm really happy with that one. I mean, it was a bit of a struggle at the beginning just to get away from everyone, but I mean, once I got away from everyone, I saw everyone pit. I mean, I nearly made the mistake of running out of fuel. I had zero 0.2 of liter by the time I got to the actual pit stall, so I nearly messed that up.
All cutting
But
it close.
yeah, once I'd done that, I didn't change tires or nothing, and I saw that it was about 10 seconds to Christopher. I thought, there's no point pushing and just try and get this win. Just keep getting them points.
Well, fair play to you, mate. You've done really well. Like you said, it was a bit difficult at the start, but as soon as you gain that advantage and you got that lead away from the rest of them in the class with you, you really did keep it away, and you had a nice little 2 car buffer of the pros sitting between you and Christopher Haynes. So no, mate, you've done a really, really good race tonight. Another great drive from you, Mr. Consistent indeed.
Thank you, thank you.
So not going to keep you too long, as you know. We don't like to keep you boys too long after you get out of the sim for an hour. But anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to before you do go?
Yeah, the usual. My girlfriend Chelsea, my 2 kids, my best friend Liam for supporting me and always watches all of my races that get broadcasted. Everybody at Spectra, love them sort of lads. They're brilliant. The the sponsors simworks.co.uk, you two for every week for making an amazing broadcast. Everybody behind it,
Thanks, mate.
Tanzo, just everyone in the background really.
Oh, there you go. Well, thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, Jordan. Hopefully, we'll speak to you again next week, mate. Good luck next week, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. On to next week.
No worries, mate. You have a good one. Good night, mate. There you go, Jimmy. Good lad is Jordan Butler. I do like speaking to him. Another P1 for him, so he's going to be very happy with that one, don't you think? Hello, Jimmy. Are you with me?
You don't hear me? There you go. Microphone cut out.
Uh,
Sorry.
no, it's all right, mate. I was just say we like speaking to Jordan Butler. Look, I'm gonna get P2 in the AMSU next. Christopher Haynes. Let's bring him in. Chris, congratulations, mate. P2 in the AMS today. How you feeling, buddy? Hello, Chris. Can you hear us?
I've always said Christopher Haynes is a very talkative man, and oh, he's dropped off. I think yeah, he might have a bit of a connection issue there. But all right, maybe while we give him a moment to sort that out, we'll bring someone else in briefly. So we could bring in our P1 overall. Let's give a little chat to Andy White, if we can bring him in there, and then
Yeah. Good evening, Andy. This is becoming a most definite regular thing that we're speaking to you on a Monday evening. How you doing, sir? Congratulations again. Another P1 under your belt. How you doing?
Evening, fellas. Thanks for that. I'm sure you're getting bored of talking to me now.
No, never, mate. Never.
Yeah, the
No,
race was all right, to be fair. Quite uneventful. I didn't expect to pull away from Harry as much as I did, because our times were pretty close in practice. So I thought, especially with him getting the toe, that he would be right there. But we just managed to edge a bit of a gap and then just start easing away, and quite easy going, just managing the tyres, trying to save a bit of fuel.
Yeah, you did it quite well again, mate. You showed you well and truly showed up and showed everybody how it's done again. P1 in qualifying, P1 in the race again, mate. No, congratulations on that one. Look, I don't like to keep you guys for too long after you've just been in there for 60 minutes. So before we do let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Shout out for Sean for putting it on as always. Shout out to Mono Competition for all the support from them guys. It's incredible. I'm going to give a shout out to Baz Cutting for joining us again for the race and a good result in P5. So
Brilliant
well
race
done,
for Baz
Baz.
tonight. Great race from him as well, mate. Definitely check him out on the broadcast.
And just a shout out to the missus and the kids for support, and a shout out to you guys for another great broadcast, no doubt.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, Andy, and probably speak to you again next week, mate. At this rate.
Yeah, probably be speaking again next week, fellas.
I'll just pencil you in now, mate. Andy White, 21:15. Right, I got you in, mate. I'll speak to you next week.
Have a good
Have
one, fellas.
have a good evening, mate. Have a good evening. Shall we get James Moore in with us, who picked up that P3 in the end?
Yeah, let's have a little chat with him and see how he's getting on.
James Moore, good evening. How are you doing, sir? Another P3 for you. We were talking about that during the race. You've got quite consistently getting these P3s now, and you got another one tonight. Didn't look like you were going to get it from Vardigans towards the end, but he just seemed to pile down the pack. I'm not too sure quite what happened with him there, but no. Good evening. Congratulations, mate. P3. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. That was quite nerve-wracking, really. It was just a case of right, okay, getting the groove behind James and just see how he was attacking Chris Hines, and then I've just spoken to him actually. He had a hardware error and everything shut off. So yeah, that was quite a disappointing moment for him, but I've got to say he is very upset about missing out on the podium. Let me tell you.
I bet it is. We were saying that you've pretty much dominated the P3 spots for, I think it's about the last 5 weeks now. You've held on to that P3, and it looked like Mr. Vardigans was going to pip you for it today. But then we just weren't sure what happened with him.
Yeah, it was a hardware issue. I don't really know the logistics of it, but he's not too best pleased about it. But
Hopefully we get another great. Hopefully, it's just the way it is, and sometimes that's how it goes, and that is really, really unfortunate. It's one of them when it's your error out on track, but it's another one when it's something like that that's completely out of your control. James, I feel for you, mate. I am sorry that happened to you. Sorry that you got it over that one, mate. But head up, we'll see you next week. But no, Mr. Moore, again, congratulations. Look, I don't like to keep you guys for too long at all after you've just been racing for 60 minutes. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to before we do let you go?
I'll shout out to Vardigans. Really, he's been an absolute team player right from the word go. So big up him.
Yeah, big up James Vardigans there. Big up James Vardigans. But no, James Moore, we are gonna love you and leave you and let you go, mate. And we'll potentially catch up with you next week if you manage to maintain your consistency there.
Okay, mate.
See you later, bud. Have a good evening.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Bye now. I think we've got time for one more, Jimmy.
Yes, I believe we're going to bring in Craig Corish and have a little chat with him.
Craig, good evening. P3 tonight in the pros and P3 overall. How you doing, mate?
I'm all good. All good, you?
Very well, thank you, mate. Very well. You gave us some great racing out there to watch. You really held on to that P3 spot. And the one thing we was really, really impressed with, and I called it before the race even started, is I wanted to see you, because I thought you were going to be the driver to really bring that gap down between Andy and Harry sitting in P1 and P2. And you really did that tonight, mate. There wasn't no 30, there wasn't no 40-second gap. There was just under a 10-second gap there, mate. So you really showed what you could do tonight.
Yeah, I feel like I could have had a better race with Harry if I didn't get into a battle immediately with Harry 7. And then I took tyres at the pits due to last week not taking tyres and having someone rear-end me last week.
See, we weren't too sure who did take tyres because it didn't look like anyone had really took tyres this week. But maybe we were mistaken, Jim. Maybe it was the other way around and everybody took tyres.
No,
Yeah.
I took tyres, but I don't think Harry didn't. Andy didn't. But I just took tyres because I had a fair enough buffer behind me. I thought I'll risk it, but it didn't pay off. It actually made things worse.
Yeah, well, you still held
Sometimes
on
you
to
gotta
your
take the risk.
P3. Yeah, you got to do that. You got to take that risk, mate. But you still held on to P3. But Harrison really didn't leave you alone for that entire race. He was right there with you.
Yeah, first 5 laps he was all over me. I had to really, push myself to get around him.
No, well, fair play to you, mate. Look, I don't like to keep you guys too long after you've just been racing for the last 60 minutes. But before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to, anyone you want to say thank you to, mate?
Who gave me driver of the day last week?
Right.
I give you
I'm-
it this week.
A shout out
Um,
to you then.
and yeah, so I'm just checking, Craig. Yeah, you got driver of the day last week as well.
I think I got it
That
at
that
Thruxton as well.
that was from myself, mate. You just impress us each and every week now. We just need you to break into the top two
Yeah,
and
I ought to
try and get
practice
at least
more.
a split. Try and get the split between them, mate. But if not, try and get to that P1, mate. 'Cause it'd be great to see.
Yeah, it's the only thing I can win at the minute, but yeah, happy with that.
There you go, mate. Look, we're gonna let you go, mate. You have a good evening, all right?
All right, thank you.
Take care, mate. See you next week.
Bye.
there you go. Nice little
Great
shout
race.
out from the driver there.
Yeah, brilliant one there. But no, great race this week, Jimmy. In a very short track, you don't expect to see him, and it was a good race to watch.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the drivers really kind of showed their skill levels here, which is quite nice to see. And yeah, I mean it's a tough one, but it's also a fun track, and yeah, they definitely put on a good show for us this evening. But overall, that is checkered flag from us here at Donington Park, and checkered flag from us here at Trackside Broadcasting. Thank you again from everyone at home for watching and commenting in the YouTube chat and just being a part of the whole community. And yeah, thank you for shouting out your favorite drivers and supporting your favorite drivers. Any final thoughts, Gaz?
Yeah, no, Jimmy, I just want to jump on the back of that one, mate. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, everybody who's watched along, everybody who's got involved in the comments along, and keep them coming, guys. We absolutely love to see them. Please make sure to drop us a like and subscribe here at Trackside Broadcasting. But Jimmy, we've been treated to another quality driving racing experience tonight. But that is going to be it from Donington Park tonight and this season. We're not coming back here. Next week, we're going to head over towards the east of the country, of the United Kingdom, and we're going near Norwich. We're going to hit Snetterton up, mate, and we're up on the 300, so we're on the short track there tonight, next
Oh no,
week as
300
well.
the long track.
Oh, sorry, yes, 300 is the long track. I do apologise. I always get that back to front. Thank you for the
Easily
correction.
done, but yeah,
I
Snatch
always get them
300.
back to front. Always do that one. And I can never get it out of my head. It's been like that for years. But no, yeah, we're headed over to Snetterton, guys. Headed over to the east of the country, and we're going to get another race underway in 7 days' time. But before we sign off, I just want to say thank you again to all of our sponsors: Spectra Racing, Clark St James Motorsport, and us here at Trackside Broadcasting. And again to the Tanzai Racing Group for hosting us and bringing all of us together to bring you each and every bit of the action every single week. That's going to be it from us here tonight, guys. Have a great week. We'll catch you all next week, exactly the same time on a Monday night. Have a good evening. Have a good rest of your week. Have a good one. See you on the next one. Good night.
You built a monster.